if anyone's actually tuned in yet. This is the start of the Buildathon that I'm doing for the Inner Sphere quirks that just came out. What I'm basically going to be doing is going through the whole list of the Inner Sphere mechs that got quirks. As you can see, it's a very, very long list. And I'll be making a build for each of them that I'll be putting into my spreadsheet, putting over here. And then from there I'm going to categorize them into one of these tiers, following the basic tier system set up by PGI. So that's the idea, and along the way I'll make notes of why I'm doing things, general rules that I follow, and all that crap. So maybe you already know all this crap, but maybe some of you can learn something from it, which is what I'm going for, kind of. Alright, so might as well kick it off. Alright, first up, what do we got? Locust 1 Echo. We got the quirks of additional structure, strength, yada yada yada, small laser. A lot of small laser quirks. Alright, so I've actually played with a Locust build like this before. Usually on a light mech, what you want to do, first of all, on every mech you want to put double and endo on at the start. Sometimes you'll remove endo and sometimes you'll add pharaoh, and most of the time on light mechs you will be adding pharaoh. But with this build, you do not generally have the room to add pharaoh, because the engine that you're going to put in is an XL190, which requires 3 external double heat sinks just to bring you up to that 10. And 10, I would say, is not quite enough for 6 small lasers. Well, now I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything else I can do. Really, now you're going to drop the head, just because if you look at the actual math, the head is probably the best protected part of the Locust. It's got, what is it, the 18 plus 15, it's got 33 hit points. The CT has 24 total external and 12 internal, so total it has 36 hit points. But you're going to have to split that between the front and back, so really it's harder to core a Locust through the head than it is through the CT in most occasions. So that's pretty much the build we're going for. I like those armor values for the center torso. I'm going to drop the back down a bit and save, and that is our first build done. Should be pretty goddamn energy efficient, or heat efficient, and with these new small laser changes that they put in, it's not going to be too bad. Let's look at them right now. Range increase, that's just a range increase, but that's 135 plus the Locust quirk, which is going to be an extra 60% range. I don't feel like doing the math, but that's over 200 optimal range right there. As for what tier to put it in, I'm sorry Locust, but you're still a Locust. I'm gonna have to put it in tier 5 for now. I might end up bumping it up later. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. This is all very preliminary for now. Probably once I get all these builds done, I'm gonna shuffle them around a little more. And also, I'm checking over to the Twitch stream chat every once in a while. So let me know if there's any problems with the stream, or if you have any questions about anything I'm doing, please don't hesitate to ask. So next up is the Locust 1M. 1M. This is probably my least favorite Locust, and it's the one that they decided to give the medium laser quirks to. So it has medium laser cooldown, range, and heat gen quirks, as well as missile cooldown and missile heat generation, which I don't know, it's kind of, it only has 2 hard points. I wish they'd put the medium laser on like the 1 Echo or maybe the 3M. I think that would have been a lot better, but let's see what happens when we put some mediums in here, maybe a couple SRM4s. This time we are going to put Pharaoh on, just to see if we can make it fit with Pharaoh. In general, you want a ton of ammo per SRM4. Like, oftentimes you can drop a half ton or add a half a ton, but that's just generally where I start at, is 2 tons for 2 launchers. And here we're running into a problem where we don't have enough tonnage. Even after I drop this down, we're going to have only 1.5 tons left, and we need 3 tons for the heat sinks. Probably, if I drop these to SRM2s, then we're going to get an extra 2 tons available, and we'll be able to drop a ton of ammo. So that would be 4.5 tons left, which would leave us with extra tonnage. So what I'm going to look at is putting in some streaks. I mean, it's not terribly effective because it's just a group of 2 streaks, which is not a big deal. And there's no BAP, so if you get ECM'd, you're down to just the medium lasers. But let's see, does that fit right? Seems to fit okay, and with those quirks, you're going to have really nice cooling efficiency and decent range, and yeah, streaks will have a good cooldown too. So we're going to call that the build for the Locust 1M. Alright, next up, Locust 1 Victor. Alright, let's look at the quirks. ER large cooldown, ER large duration reduction, and general weapon range for energy and ballistics. So obviously we're going to want an ER large laser on this. I've been doing it with the ER large laser anyways since before the quirks, because I had to master my Locusts. Well, I didn't have to, I just felt like it. And so we're going to max out that armor. And here's the build I was doing before. It was 1 ER large and 2 machine guns, and honestly I think that's still gonna fit pretty solidly. Drop the left arm down because we don't need it. We'll start off by keeping the head at 16, put a fake point of armor on the left arm. And let's see, standard XL 190. Bada bang, bada boom, bada ba. Half ton left for ammo. Alright. Yeah, it fits pretty good. I'm actually going to drop the rear down a bit because you should be like staying way out if you're running this build. Because looking at this, it's ER large, or the energy weapon range is 15% bonus. Hello, bear. And what's the current energy ER large range? I forget what the current range is, but it is pretty long these days. 675. It's like 7 with the module. It's going to be like 800 meters, maybe even more. So you're going to be staying way the hell back. Nothing should be getting on your back ever. So we're going to save that and call it a build. Again, I'm putting all these Locusts in Tier 5 still, because they're Locusts. I don't see them being able to contribute to a fight in a meaningful way. The only one that I do see being able to is the 3S, but we'll get to that later. Our next mech is the 3M. Small pulse range, small pulse cooldown. I think I know what weapon I'm putting on it. Small pulse just got a pretty sweet buff. It got the damage up to, where is it? To 4.0, heat decrease, and a bit of a range increase. Not much of one, but still, that's, you know, it's better than nothing. And plus, it's going to get extra range from these quirks that we're looking at right now. It's going to get that 60% total extra range, which puts it at like around 175 probably, which, I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. The main problem you're going to run into that range is being a Locust, because you are not meant to fight in a brawl. You will get decimated in a brawl. Alright, so we're going to keep double, Pharaoh, and Endo on. Max out the armor. I'll drop the head a bit. A lot. Throw on a big XL. In general, I do like to go for the biggest engine possible, particularly on the Locusts and any other chassis that are using speed as their tanking instead of armor. Alright, so now we got 1.5 tons left, which is a bit awkward because we don't really have anywhere else to drop tonnage from. My options right now, I'm gonna do that, but now we have a half ton left. My main option I'm looking at is just increasing the head armor, or alternatively I could drop the CT small pulse laser to a regular small laser and add a heatsink. This is pretty much a toss-up. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure which would actually be a better option, but alright, let's look at the quirks again. It gets cooldown and range. It doesn't get actual cooling efficiency perks. But you shouldn't be staying in a fight for that long anyways. Alright, so I'm just going to keep the head armor up. I don't think that dropping that to a small laser and adding a heatsink will net you any significant advantage, and I really do think that having all small pulse lasers is gonna sync up much better than having one small laser and 4 small pulse. Just gonna put that there, and again, it's a really short range locust. I'm putting it in tier 5. I'm sorry. Now the 3S. This is an interesting one. This is one of the few that I have actually looked into a lot. Don't have the crit slots for a heatsink. Yeah, you're right. That too. That's another good reason, Bear. Thanks. Alright. Locust 1 at 3S. 3S. Locust 3S was my favorite Locust. It's the reason that I mastered the Locust chassis, because I ran a build on it with 4 SRM2s. And I fucking loved that build, dude. 4 SRM2s, 2.5 tons of ammo. And if you look at the perks, get medium laser range, medium laser cooldown, then it gets missile weapon range and missile weapon cooldown. So I'm thinking that maybe you don't even need to change the build, but I looked into it anyways. And what I came up with was using 1 medium laser, dropping all of the armor off one of the arms. So let's take the left arm just because I like to right click with my SRMs. And putting in 2 SRM4s. So that nets you the same number of SRMs, so you can do the same hold, like peek fire and then get back behind cover thing, and you get the same alpha. But it does get you a little lower DPS. But the medium laser, I think, is going to be worth it in these fights. So let's see what happens. Get that on. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bum. Gonna drop that down to 16, yep, there. And a lot of half ton of ammo. That might not be enough ammo, that's my other concern. Usually I want at least a ton per launcher, particularly in pugs, but in a locust, there's a good chance you're just not going to live for long enough to go through all that. So I'm going to keep that the way it is. I think that's fairly respectable. And we're going to move on. Put that in here. Alright, this one I am going to put in tier 4, because I highly recommend you try this build if you're interested in Locusts in any ways. It is really fun to brawl with them, like in a way that the enemy doesn't even see. So you like hide behind them or to the side or just anywhere they're not looking. You throw out a few alphas until they actually start turning around. Then you just fucking run away at 170 kph. It can be very entertaining. Alright, so that's it for the Locusts. Now we are moving on to the Commandos. Commando 1 Bravo. Large laser range, medium laser cooldown, medium laser duration, and energy heat generation. So I think it's pretty obvious we're going to use this baby as a laser boat. It does have 1 missile hardpoint. Not entirely sure. Yeah, that's not useful at all, really. It's 2 slots in there. You can't even put an SRM6 in, and honestly, I wouldn't even want to anyways. Alright, let's fill it up with all the upgrades it can handle. Play with the armor a bit. Alright, Alright, we'll leave it at there for now. We might strip some from the head and arms later on if we need to make something fit tight. Bring the large laser to medium lasers. Sometimes I like to start with the engine. Sometimes I like to start with the weapons, see how big of an engine I can fit. Biggest we can fit is 240, that's 11 tons. We're going to drop down to 235. I don't think that's a significant loss in speed. That way you can actually fit in this armament, which is, with those quirks, it should be a pretty decent amount of firepower, amount of DPS, and it should stay pretty cool. So I like that. I think that's probably going to be your best bet. So I'm going to save this and put it in. I'm a little queasy about dropping that head and arm armor, which is what you would have needed to do to fill in the maximum engine size, just because all your weapons are on your arms, and a lucky head strike is no fun. I'm going to put this in tier 4. It does have more range than the Locust, it has more armor than the Locust, and it goes just as fast. Actually, I might be putting it in tier 5. Because there's nothing special about it at all. There's other mechs that can do the same exact thing and better. I might move that later. Like I said, these are all preliminary tier rankings. After I'm done making all the builds and assigning them all to their tiers, then I'm going to go back and just kind of rework it a little bit. So they might end up in different tiers. But the next mech is the Commando 1 Delta. This one is really interesting. This is another one of the ones that I actually looked at before and found a build that I really like for it. Because if you'll notice, it has medium pulse quirks, which is like my favorite weapon in the world. It's also got some missile range, but that's not a huge deal. It just means we can run them a little better than we could before. So let's open it up. Commando 1D. 2 energy, 2 missile. I already know what my energies are going to be. Medium pulse. Alright, let's deal with the boring shit. Max armor, left arm to 0. Drop the head to 16. Okay. And alright, we'll put a phantom point of armor on there. I like to put a point of armor on anywhere that I can, just because, like, even if I'm not using it, it makes the enemy think that maybe he is using it when they target you. It really has a very, very small effect, but I like to think that it's like a teeny tiny edge, and I'll go for whatever edge I can. Alright, let's try putting in the max engine, see how much room we have. We will need a heatsink. 3 tons left. You know what that means. 2 missile slots, 3 tons. Bam, bam, and bam. Alright, so we got 2 SRM2s, 2 medium pulse lasers, ton of ammo. That's pretty, for a mech this tonnage, that's pretty good DPS, and the range on those medium pulse lasers, it's gonna be, what? It's gonna be over 300 meters. 300 meters of range. Hello, Thaxar. So yeah, this is gonna be our finished build. So we'll save this and we will put it in here. I'm gonna call that a tier 4. It's got some serious potential. Commando 2D is up next. Let's look at its quirks. SRM4 range, SRM4 cooldown. Now, in my experience, it's been really tough to fit in SRM4s, but I'm gonna try it anyways. I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to have to drop the engine down below where I want it to go. I'm going to put an ECM because if you can put an ECM in a mech, just do it. It's very rarely a bad idea. But here's where the problem comes in. Even with an XL200, which is what we're going to put in now, you need 2 more heat sinks. And now you only have 2 slots for ammo. And 3 SRM... Oh no, you don't. Oh, hold on. So we got 3 SRM4s. 2 slots for ammo, 1.5 tons. We'll drop the left arm, we don't need that. So we're talking 2 tons of ammo for 3 SRM4s. Now, there's a good argument to be made that you're not going to live long enough to go through all that ammo anyways. And I think that's the decision I'm going to make right now. But that's still really... That's a maximum of 400 damage output, because those are your only weapons. It's 400 damage and your strike, and that's all you can do. But look at that. Look at that DPS. And if you look back here, it's getting 15% cooldown too. I almost want to swap one of them for an SRM2 for an extra ton of ammo, but I don't think it'd be worth it. I'm just gonna go with this build. Let me just finish off the armor values a bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this for now. I might change it later, but I'd given it 2 quirks because I had a really nice SRM2 build for it. Alright, let's go in tier 4 just because it's got ECM and it's gonna be pretty decent at taking down big mechs. No thanks, sir. I don't wanna... Well, I really want to put a medium laser in there, but there's so little room. And if you drop a light mech before the 140 kph, that's pretty much the magic number. I don't think Smurfy has put the quirks in yet, or if they will at all, Bear. It doesn't seem like it from what I'm looking at, but I hope he does. I mean, even if he doesn't, like, this seriously, I love Smurfy. This dude has brought so much happiness to my life just because I get to fiddle with all these builds all the time. But yeah, my old build had 3 SRM2s and a medium laser, and that was the shit. But I think that with these quirks, the SRM4s are going to be better. I think it's going to be better. I'm not entirely sure. I reserve the right to change that build in here at some point. But it's got ECM, it's got a pretty decent brawling weapon armament, it's going in tier 4. Next up is the command. What I don't get is why the Oxide got better quirks than the 2D. Like, the Oxide was definitely already a better mech. Alright, whatever. Next up, Commando 3A. Commando 3A. SRM 6. And that's about it. Energy weapon cooldown, but a lot of the SRM 6. Heat generation cooldown and range. Alright. And it's got 2 missile hardpoints. I think it would be a real waste not to put in SRM 6s, but I also think you cannot Artemis these SRM 6s, which causes me some concern. I'm considering putting in small lasers for backup weapons, but we'll see what our tonnage is. Excuse me. We'll see what our tonnage is like when we get there. Definitely not going to be able to put in a max engine. I'm going to try out a 225, see what happens. 1.5 tons. Oof, that's not much. That's not nearly enough. You usually want 1 to 1.5 tons per SRM6. I think optimally we would want 2 tons of ammo in this build. Maybe 2.5. Let's try this out. Alright, so now we're looking at 3 extra tons. So that's I think that can work. Alright, we can put SRM ammo here, SRM ammo here. And we can just put a small... Oh, we're out of crit slots. Fuck. Alright, we'll just put in a medium laser. I think that's all. Ooh, hold on. We can dead arm that. Drop left arm armor to 0. Do that. Get an extra 1/2 ton. Got 8 tons left. Maybe if we drop this. Oh my god, we're a ton short from the 225. Or we could drop that to a small laser. Put in one of those, 8.5 tons. XL 210. Alright. I mean, that's pretty considerable sustained DPS. The maximum DPS isn't that great, but it's got a good firepower with those two SRM6s. And this isn't counting quirks as far as I know, so it's going to get some extra cooldown. So I think that'll be alright. I'm still hesitating to even put it in tier 4. I think this is definitely a tier 5 mech. It might be a fun tier 5 mech, but it's not great. Alright, next up we have the Death Snell. Or the Death Snail, as I like to call it. What are its quirks? Energy weapon range, laser duration, energy heat generation. Looks like the build's not going to change at all. Here's the one I've been using. It's for medium laser. Yes, I actually bought the Death Snell, even though I do not pilot lights at all, and I particularly do not pilot the Death Snell. The max engine in there. Hit 1, 2, max armor. 3 heat sinks. Oh no, what I did is I add an AMS. I usually don't add AMS, I gotta say. Where is my AMS? It's usually under weapons, right? Chat, please help. Where's my AMS? Oh my god, Smurfy, what'd you do? Okay, well, if there was AMS, it would be going right there, in the right torso. So I'm gonna just adjust the armor values a bit. And if you see it in the sheet, you should be able to figure out that AMS ammo with no AMS means you want to put an AMS in. So we'll call that a build. I'll come back to edit it later. I'm gonna put that in tier 4 because it's always been a ridiculously fun. It's a ridiculously fun mech. It is, with the other non-ECM Commandos, it is the fastest mech in the game, even faster than Locusts, and it's got 4 medium lasers, which now have some perks on it. So I mean, I've seen some people put up some crazy damage in Death Snell before. I think Tifon 90. I've seen a lot, or maybe it was tweaking. I don't know. Well, whatever. Alright, Spider 5D is next. Oh my god, they are really shafting the ECM guys on this. Holy crap. Energy weapon cooldown 10%. Jeez. There's always been a couple of builds for the Spider 5D, and I've never been sure which one's really better. And even as far as that goes, I don't know. I think I've always been partial to medium pulse lasers, but the large laser build does give you some extra range. So I'm going to try out the large laser build. Yabba dabba doo. Why did I just say yabba dabba doo? That makes no sense at all. It's completely irrelevant to what I'm doing. Max engine, of course. Max armor. Strip that left arm. We can drop the head down to 6. Alright, so the head armor, there's a few magical numbers. 6 is the point where an AC-20 will not instantly headshot you. 12 is the point where Gauss PPC will not instantly headshot you. And 16 is the point where a double PPC, double AC-5, or double PPC AC-10, or double Gauss will not headshot you. And 18, I mean, it's just a little better than 16 is all. None of them will protect you from a direct RD head strike, because that does 35 damage, and its total is 33 with full armor, which, come on, so annoying. Alright, back to the build. We got that, we got that, we got that. It's already running pretty cool. It's going to be running a bit hotter because of the cooldown perk, but that's just artificial heat. I'm going to add 1 double heatsink just because, why not, you know? And then we're going to fill it up with a few jump jets. The alternative is to just drop the heatsink and add a couple more jump jets, but I'm feeling pretty good about where it is right now. Just going to adjust my armor values. I don't like 30 tonners because you get these weird numbers. I think I think that these are still like the best ratios, but I still don't like them. So we're gonna save that. And we'll call it a build. I'm putting this tier 3 for sure. I might put it in tier 2. You know, I'm gonna put it in tier 2 for now. I might drop it down, but it's a spider. It's really hard to hit. It's apparently gonna be able to do some decent damage. It's got ECM. I'm gonna put it in tier 2. Alright, Spider 5K is next. I wonder if it has machine gun quirks. Ballistic weapon range, yes. Alright, ER large, ER large, ER large. Alright, I think we're going to put an ER large in this. It was already pretty much the weapon to go to in a Spider 5K, along with machine guns. But, I mean, that just solidifies it as being the best option. So we're going to put in that. I'm not sure if you can get a max engine into this thing with the ER large and machine guns. So I'm gonna wait to add the engine until last. I'm gonna drop a couple points from each arm because it's not a big deal if one of them gets shot off. Yeah, that should be good. Ton of machine gun ammo just cause. We got 15 tons left. We need a jump jet, at least a jump jet. Which means that we can do that and max everything out. I think having one jump jet might be a bit of an issue. All I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the machine gun ammo to half a ton. You really, since you have this ER large laser, you should be spending most of your time at the range where your machine guns are going to be utterly useless. So I'm going to add another jump jet as opposed to keeping in a full ton of machine gun ammo. I know eventually you usually are going to want to close to brawl them with those machine guns. But if that brawl lasts longer than like 30 seconds, you'll be dead. I don't care how glitchy your hitboxes are. So put that in. I'll put it in tier 3. I think that's pretty fair. I might move down to tier 4 later. Alright, Spider. Oops. Spider 5 Victor, medium pulse range, cooldown, duration, heat gen. This is one of the ones I was kind of excited about. It's not going to be good. I just want to say that now. It's not going to be a good mech. But it's going to have some serious whoppage to it for a 30-tonner. And it's going to jump like a motherfucker. It's definitely one of the most fun mechs in the game just because of its, goddamn, go in there. Just because of its incredible jump height. So what I'm going to do is just, you don't get to fill it up all the way with jump jets. If you look, I got 11 free slots left and I've got 12 maximum jump jets. But you can get pretty damn close. I'm dropping the arms all the way down. All the way down, dropping the head, down to 9. 5.5 tons, 11 jump jets, half ton each. Let's start loading this bad boy up. I don't know why I put them in the legs, just because fuck you, that's why. I always put them in the legs. I put them all on the same side torso because this way they kind of crit pad each other. I mean, if you get crit, you're going to get crit. And if you get crit, it's going to crit a jump jet. So I guess in the end it doesn't really matter. But it makes me feel better anyways. So that'll be a build. That number is going to be up significantly when it takes into account these cooldown and range, or cooldown and heat gen quirks. But by significantly, I mean like maybe 0.5 extra DPS. It'll just be more fun than it was. I'm gonna put in tier 4. Sorry, it's got 2 weapons! And they're not like AC-20s. They're medium pulse laser. 1 slot, 2. That's not enough. It's not enough! Not enough. Oh my god, the Anansi. Alright, this is probably... It's probably my least favorite spider. Because it has a fucking missile launcher. Just one of them, so you can't use it to like boat SRMs, and you can't use it to like do anything but fucking narc people. But I am not making a narc boat and putting it in this thing. No way in hell. Fuck that. I probably will use it as an SRM. Maybe an SRM 6, maybe an SRM 4. This one's tough. Let's look at the quirks again. Medium laser cooldown, medium laser range. Okay, that's helpful. Alright, so we're gonna put in 2 medium lasers. I feel like that makes sense. 2 machine guns, because what the hell else are you gonna use those ballistic slots for? And we'll start out with an SRM4 and see what happens. Max engine is 270, let's try that on for size. We're gonna need some ammo. 1 ton of SRM, a half ton of machine gun. I like to use the CT. Yeah, no, I'm not putting a fucking Lerm boat in a spider. Could get a Lerm 10 in there if you want, but I do not want to. You don't need any extra double heat sinks actually, it's already pretty cool. Got 2.5 tons left. We'll drop some armor again so we can get 3 tons. Excuse me. So we could fill up on jump jets. And you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to fill up on jump jets. There's really nowhere to crit pad. I'm going to split it up then between the legs and the other stuff. Oh wait, now it's like all nice and symmetrical. Look at that. Perfectly symmetrical build. Don't you just love it? I know I do. When I started playing, I had this like fetish for symmetry in all builds. That went away when the Highlander arrived. Alright, save, and we'll call that it. I really do not like this mech. I'm sorry, I just... gross. Tier 4, go there. Be with your buddies. Firestarter FS9A. Let's look at the quirks. Small pulse range. Small pulse heat gen. Alright, small pulse it is. Now, nice thing about small pulse lasers, no ghost heat. It's A, right? Yeah. So we can put fucking 8 of these on this motherfucker. I think that's what we're gonna do, because small pulse just got buffed to be at... Oh, excuse me. It just got buffed to be... God damn, it's another one. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. Whew. They just got to be buffed to be 4 damage apiece, as opposed to 3.4. So if you look at that, that's a 32 damage alpha, and you also got to consider that this thing has an extra 15% range on top of the extra range it just got with it just got buffed to 110. So that's going to be like 125, 130 range plus the range module. That's gonna be almost 150 range, which I mean it's pretty low, but it's not terrible. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna keep it at 8, and we'll see what happens. Let's upgrade the shit out of it. Let's see, 1 jump jet, 2 double heat sinks, just because looking at the free slots, that's what I had room for. Got 15.85, XL 295, drop the head to 12, and add a heat sink. Boom! That looks pretty sexy. I actually am going to try this when I get my goddamn graphics card fixed. Oh yeah, so I have to say this. I know that I said that I wanted to make after finishing building all these, I wanted to stream me going through my entire mech lab of like 100 mechs and playing each one of the builds that I'm making here. And I would love to do that, but my graphics card fucking broke last night. Terrible timing. And so now I gotta send it off to Aces to get it fixed, or if they can't fix it, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm streaming you using my HD 4000 integrated graphics processor. Woo! Maybe I'll stream a couple matches, because I have been able to get MWO working, but it's not really enjoyable for me to play, and I can't imagine it's that enjoyable for you to watch. So we'll see when it comes to that. I'll probably stream one at the end in my Thunderwub, which we'll get to later. Alright, so that's the build. I think it looks pretty sweet. I think that this is definitely worthy of tier 3, maybe tier 2. Although I think the range limitation is going to keep it in tier 3. I'm sorry. Just because 150 meters, which it's not even going to get that far, is not that much. Next up we got the H. Medium laser, heat generation, and a bit of range. Okay, well, the Ember is already amazing. I believe it was listed as a tier 1 mech, which is absolutely fair. Oh, hey Seb. And so there's not going to be much of a change to this because it already used medium lasers. Oh, wait, no, this is the H. My bad. Sorry. Medium. Or, sorry, light. God damn it, Seb, you distracted me. Alright, so it's got 6 slots. That means you can do 6 medium lasers and just completely ignore the machine guns. Which, with these perks, that's probably what I'm going to do. Because before, what I would do is run 4 medium lasers, 2 smalls, 2 machine guns, and treat smalls and machine guns as basically the same weapon. Because they have like the same range, they're both really low heat, etc. Both torso mounted. But now I'm thinking that maybe 6 medium lasers go. Because it's a heat generation thing, and it was a problem with heat before, because if you look at the slots, you don't have enough, like, to fill it up. Like, you got 3 extra heat sinks, plus you got 16, so that's 19, so you're going to have a ton and a half left over. Maybe just a ton left over, but there's going to be leftover tonnage, so you got to drop Pharaoh. Sorry I didn't actually show you all that, but trust me, that's the way it ends up being. Alright, I'm going to drop some armor from here, drop the head a bit. Oh, maybe not that much. Alright, I think that's fair. We want 1 jump jet at least. We're going to keep it at 1 for now. And oof, I don't know how many heat sinks I'm going to be able to fit on this. I think this might be it. Go with XL285. I think that's it. I think that's as many heat sinks as you can handle. But still, I mean, that is plenty of heat sinks, I think, with that heat generation quirk. So I think we're going to keep it at this. I think that's as good as it's going to get. See the medium lasers in the CT being a problem because the Firestarter is not known for its up and down torso pitch, but I think it's still going to be worth doing that. My spreadsheet was out of the right order. Still tier 3. Just because there's other mechs that do it better. The Jenner, even without a heat generation quirk, which actually I haven't checked to see what it has, I think the Jenner would still do the same exact build better, because it does get an extra heat sink. And also the Firestarter K. I'll get to that later. Alright, next up. The Firestarter K! I get to... Oh my god. Alright, let's check this baby out. Firestarter K. It gets a small laser quirk. Fun. Also a weapon that is not affected by ghost heat, so we can stack 8 of those babies on here. I know a few people were running this build before, back when they were leading their embers. And let's see what we got. Definitely gonna need to remove ferrofibrous. What's the actual perks? It's just range, so it's gonna be 30% range. The weapon already has, what, 130 range right now? That was the difference? Yeah, it sucks that the Generaf doesn't have any quirks. But, alright, I have small laser, 135 range, and we get extra 30% here. So it's gonna be at around 180-ish. Almost 200 with the weapon module, the range module. So I think it's worth taking. It's pretty low firepower, but you gotta remember that the small laser has a really nice cooldown. So you can pinprick these guys all the time. I think we're gonna go with another 285 here. So we can put on 1 more double heat sink. I don't know which arm to put it on, guys. This is rough. Gonna go right arm. Yeah, I think that's right. Feels good. And so we're gonna leave the right arm at 24 because it's so valuable with that heatsink. Drop the left arm down to 20, 285, and an extra heatsink. Now that is really nice heating efficiency. This is gonna be definitely a brawling light, so this will be something that you stick right behind the bigs and have it just stick on them. Or maybe, honestly, this could probably be a Jenner in a light fight if they get into close quarters, because just the DPS is going to be sweet. So we're going to call that build, move over here, just keep skipping the Ember. I'm going to put that with its buddy, the H, because it's not that good. I really don't. It'll be decent in a straight up brawl, but in a straight up brawl, I think the Ember is still going to be better, even if it doesn't get any quirks. Alright, so the Ember, yep, none, no quirks. I still think it's going to be better than the S, or the K. And now it's time for the S. ER large cooldown, ER large duration. I don't know how I feel about that. The S has never struck me as an ER large platform. At all. Does anyone chat, or hold on, does anyone chat know how like high mounted on the shoulder the ER large is? Or the energy slot is? Because if it's not high mounted, I don't know, I think it still might not be worth doing that. It also gets a duration bonus and a cooldown bonus, so it's not like you're not going to get other options for other weapon systems. Well, let's see what happens when we use an ER large and back it up with small lasers. 2 ER large and back it up with small lasers. Alright, we're going to put 2 ER large in here, back it up with 4 small lasers. Yeah, mid-torso, that's not that high, but if you're a light mech and you got these quirks, you could be peeking from pretty far away without getting hit back. So I'm going to try it out. I'm going to see how it looks. And if it doesn't work right, I can always just redo it. It's going to be slow, too. I think I'm dropping this arm. Yeah, I'm dropping this arm. Left arm is 0. Which does mean I can buff those items. Alright, that's not too slow. It's still going to be relatively slow for a light. But, alright, we're going to forego all extra heat sinks, put it in 285. Maybe. Maybe just 1 ER large. That looks better. Does not look perfect. This is not a good mech. Honestly, the S was always one of my least favorites. I think that the build that PGI is thinking of is 2 ER large lasers and double AMS, but that doesn't make sense, because at ER large laser range you're going to be dodging missiles anyways. They're not going to even come close. And if you're sticking with your team, then you're not getting optimal ER large, like, coverage. So I think it's just going to be like, it's going to be a medium range mech with the option to go long range. It's tier 3, maybe tier 4, I think. Not impressed by that at all. I'll put it in tier 3 for now. What's that, Bodor? Oh, that. Yeah, those are not high mounts at all. Thanks for sending me that. Alright. Next up is the Ember, I believe. And with a whopping 0 perks, the build is not going to change at all. So what I'm going to do is going to go back to the old tier list. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to put it into the new tier list as tier 1. For now. Might move it down. I don't know. Generity! SRM4 range, missile weapon range. Okay. There's a couple different options you can do for this. One is 2 SRM4s and 4 small lasers, which I loved back in the day, like closed beta. Super fun. But I think that that's not going to work these days. I think these days you're going to want medium lasers. It's going to be hot. It's going to be really hot. But the damage should be pretty nice. And you'll still have jump jets, which is putting you ahead of the Oxide. At least in that sense. In general, I like to drop the head to 12. Ever since I like to do rear torso at 6 too, because they just so rarely get hit. Ever since the strikes got nerfed, they made them spread out more. You're a lot less likely to get head struck, so I think that's alright. Ton of SRM ammo there. You're pretty safe putting a ton of SRM ammo on the side torso just because they're so hard to hit. And I'm going to load it up with heat sinks to just crit pad it even more. Although perhaps not that many heat sinks. I think, yeah, we can only afford to do one if we want to go at a decent speed. It's really hot, as you can see. Really, really, really hot. But I think if you play it smart, you'll be able to say, okay, I'm at like 300 meters, my SRM4 is probably not going to hit, my medium lasers can do decent damage, so I'll just stick with those. And then when you get really up close, you'll say, okay, time to switch to SRMs, and you can just wreck them with that. So I'm going to call that the finished build. I'm going to put it tier 2. I think it's decent enough to get there. I mean, Spider 5D versus it, I don't know who would win, so... And I would say Spider 5D probably offers a bit more to the team, but the Jenner is going to be a better assassin, straight up. Jenner F, no perks, so we're going to do the same thing we did with the Firestarter. I'm still going to leave it in tier 1. Because for now, like, it's still there, it hasn't gotten any worse. There's just a couple mechs that might join it there. Jenner K is next. Alright, medium pulse cooldown, medium pulse heat gen. Now this is a build that we're going to do that is based, well, not based, it's probably going to be identical to something that we tried a while ago with the Jenner K, using medium pulse lasers. And now this is going to make it a lot more valuable. I think before I would have said it was like a tier 3 or tier 4. Now I'm saying tier 2 for sure. Maybe tier 1 worthy, but I would hesitate very much to put it there, so I'm going to keep it in tier 2. And drop the head a bit. Now we're just going to fill her up with heat sinks. And a jump jet. So 15, which lets you get a 295. Which the heat generation perks should be fine for that. You get cooldown, but the heat gen cancels it out. And you should be putting out pretty steady DPS and pretty precise DPS, which is the important part about the weapon system, is that the DPS is really precise. Just gonna move it around for crit padding. Alright, so we can put this in the list now. Tier 2. Tier 2. Oxide, okay. This is probably the biggest deal we've had yet. Look at these perks. SRM4 range, okay. SRM4 cooldown, oh yeah. Heat generation, oh yeah. Those are the two big... Okay, well the one big thing was its lack of jump jet, so it was holding it back. But those two are enough to put it, I think, into tier 1. I honestly I'm regretting not buying this mech when it was on sale, because it looks amazeballs. If you do the calculation, alright, max sustained DPS 11.5. The cooldown perk, sorry, It's going to be 15%. So that's basically just adding 15% to its, and then the module is 27%. So you're going to be adding 27% to that, just like around 3. So you're going to be coming up just shy of 15 DPS coming out of this bad boy, which is a lot of DPS. I mean, come on, that is crazy. I think we can afford an XL 295 here and don't have to do a 300. I'm not going to go for any extra heat sinks. You need as much ammo as you can get in this. Putting it all in the side torso is very risky, I will say that. But it's so hard to hit these side torsos. It's not that it's hard to hit them, it's just that they're never really hit. They're so slim that it's rare that anyone ever bothers to try to aim at one, and them getting hit randomly is like, I would say, a 5% chance. So yeah, I think that's going to be the build. Maybe some people will want to slow it down, but I don't think you can really afford to do that because it doesn't have the jump jets. You can just run around with this guy, you can lag thing, just putting out crazy amounts of DPS, and then run away. The only thing that'll really be able to stop you is... okay, a lot of things can stop you, but you'll be able to do some serious damage before you go down. So I know a lot of people are excited about that one. I'm putting it in Tier 1. I am putting it in Tier 1. I am being very optimistic about the Generoxide. Next up, Raven 2X, a.k.a. Waste of a Raven. Alright, large pulse range, large pulse heat gen, medium laser range, medium laser duration. So I think it's clear that they want us to be running a large pulse and medium lasers on this. Let's see if it can go fast enough as a light mech to be able to, you know, do that. It does have 4 energy slots. I think you want your big weapons in this arm because it's got a really nice high mount, and you can also go up and down. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Left arm, we can just ditch it. 13 tons left. Oh, that is not a lot of tons left. That is hardly any tons left. I don't think we can do 2. I think we can only afford to do 1. But we can do 3 medium lasers. And we can add on 3 double heat sinks. I think that's going to be the build. I mean, it's not a terrible build as is. Honestly, I would rather have 4 medium pulse before the quirks. But with these quirks, because they're pretty good quirks, like 20% range, 20% less heat. Wait. What the f... okay, so this has energy weapon range plus 10%, and this has energy weapon range plus 10%. Does that mean 30% extra weapon range? What? What? Does anyone mind checking for me? I don't own a Raven 2X. Does anyone that does own the Raven 2X, do you mind checking for me whether when you mouse over it and hold it there, how much extra range it says that it gets out of that? In-game has flat 20%. Okay. Alright, so okay, it's just... oh, just to energy weapons in general. So 20% and then it has an extra 10%. Wow! Well, why would you list it twice then? Okay, well, that's even better. That's a lot of weapon range you're getting on there. So the large pulse is going to poke out quite a way, because in this most recent patch, highest large pulse, range increase 365 plus 30%. That's going to be going well over 450 meters after you get the module. Really wish you could fit 2 on there, but I don't think it's worth going like 120 kph just to fit 2. So that's going to be the build. That's pretty cool though. Interesting build, and since it's always been the worst Raven, we shall see how it is now. I'm putting it tier 3. Or am I? Yeah, I think I am. It's way better than those tier 4 guys. Alright, Raven 3L. Let's see what we got. Medium laser duration. Okay. The Scraven has not been good for a while. I think... Sorry, Scraven is the 3 medium laser, 2 streaks. I think we're going to keep with the ER large, since those quirks are pretty goddamn inconsiderable. Almost said inconsiderate. Did not mean that. So I think that's going to be tier 2. Just with the ER large. Just so you can see the build, it's there. 2 ER large, heatsink to pad it, ECM, XL285, you run around, try to stay at max range, and poke people and be a really annoying piece of shit. So that's what we're going to put in tier 2. It'll benefit a bit from the laser duration, but not much. Not a huge change anyways. Raven 4X, a.k.a. the second worst Raven. Alright, let's take a look at this. Yeah, Machina. The problem is that it might be tier 2, but those CT lasers really have problems with ups and downs, and any good light pilot will be able to exploit that. I've seen matches where Embers just couldn't use their machine guns at all because the Jenner kept going up and down hills, and like it was 4 medium lasers versus 6, and it was just over before it began. It's a really bad torso pitch, and so I think the Jenner F is still better. I might put a tier 2. It might be worth it, but I don't know. We'll see. Raven 4X, medium pulse, medium pulse. It only has 2 energy hard points. 2 energy hard points. Why are you giving it? Gets cooldown and heat generation and range. Alright, this is probably the worst Raven now. I'm gonna give it 2 medium pulse. And yeah, actually, I do think the Huggin is better than most other people think it is. I don't think that the Huggin is the worst Raven. I'm just saying. I think it's probably like the 2nd or 3rd best Raven. Alright, so looking at that, 2 medium pulse. I think we're gonna put in an SRM4 with Artemis. Or maybe even an SRM6 with Artemis. Let's see what that looks like. Max engine. Give it a jump jet. I guess that's probably as good as it's gonna get. It's not really much damage. It's not much firepower. The DPS is deceptively high because those machine guns do not actually do that much. Ugh. And it's so cool too, I hate that. I hate that so much. Plus it's getting heat generation buffs. Alright, well, at least you'll be able to wub more often with that 20% cooldown reduction. And it has jump jets. I think this is definitely a tier 3 mech. I'm thinking maybe tier 4, but I still think that it's going to be better than the mechs in tier 4 right now. Let me look to even see. A lot of these tier 4 mechs are almost tier 5. Well, nah, I think tier 3. Tier 3 is... Oops, sorry, I did not mean to do that. I think tier 3 is probably where it belongs. And now the Huggin. Which I like it a lot more than other people do. Admittedly, I don't have it, but I like the idea of it. I do like the idea of it. Alright, machine gun range. Ballistic weapon range. That's 25% extra machine gun range. Total 25% extra SRM4 range. And 50% extra cooldown on the SRM4? Well, that's interesting. That means you get to fire that shit twice as fast. And there's a little bit of heat reduction on the SRM4. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright. It might take off Artemis if I have to, but I don't think I'll have to. We'll want at least 2 tons of ammo for this. I'm gonna say 3 tons of ammo. Jump jet, double heatsink. But then that's just an XL280. What does this look like? Let's take a look. Oh, that's way too heat efficient. Even though you're going to be firing those twice as fast, it's still going to be really cool. I think 295 is in order. I think that looks good. I think this is going to be a very interesting mech. Because these SRM4s are going to be firing... They're going to be firing faster than SRM2s. And SRM2s fire goddamn fast. Yes, Sun Cobra. Sorry, a full disclosure, Sun Cobra is the first person to ever have made any build ever in MWO. I'm just copying all of his work. This is all just a facade. A facade. I'm gonna put that in CT. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. That's a pretty good amount of DPS. Drop what machine guns? Oh, ammo. Yeah, good point. I do need ammo for the machine guns. I'm not dropping the machine guns! I'm adding ammo for the machine guns. Alright, fucking hell. Alright. But I am dropping the engine a bit. I'm dropping it 285. Moving that there, moving that there, moving that there. And I'm adding half an extra ton of SRM ammo. I have machine gun ammo now, okay? Alright. Thank you for pointing it out. Thank you. You're very nice. Alright, 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 alright. Alright, let's put this in now. And that should finish up the lights. I'm putting that in tier 2. Seriously excited about the SRM4 cooldown. Seriously excited about it. That's 1.5 seconds before anything else. 12%. That extra cooldown is going to mean, plus the 10% from the pilot tree, that's going to be really fast. That's going to be really fast. That's why I want the Artemis on there. I want it to be as tight as possible because that's like an incredible source of firepower. Alright. So that's it for the lights. That is our light tier list as of right now. I'm going to probably go back and update it later. I might move the H to tier 2. I don't know. I'm gonna remove that bottom border. Oh my god, I'll deal with the formatting later, who gives a shit. Next up is mediums. Starting with the Cicada 2A. Alright. So there's not much exciting in the lights. I was surprised by the Huggin thing. I like the Oxide. But the mediums, there's some interesting shit going on. Cicada 2A. Medium laser cooldown, duration, heat gen. Plus all this extra shit that nobody cares about. So, we're going to look at that 2A. And we're going to take the heavy Generaf, basically, is what it is. I know that it's called a medium, but this thing is a goddamn light. I'm just saying it. Like, full on. I'm putting Ferro on no matter what. Just because this thing ain't no medium. Although I actually put Ferro on a lot of my mediums, but I'm putting Ferro and an XL on this bad boy. Aww. Well, damn. Alright, well even if it doesn't mean that you're double firing, I still think it's really cool. Even if it's just every 2 seconds, that's SRM2 rate of fire, which is already goddamn fast, and then you add the modules on and it's really, really fast. Seriously, it's exciting no matter what. I think my dog's gonna come over in a second. Alright, 23 extra tons, XL335, boom, boom, boom. So now you're going same speed as a Jenner pretty much, 6 medium lasers, 16 double heat sinks, which is 1 more than a Jenner gets. And look at these perks you get. Look at them. That's really cool. Cooldown, less duration, and less heat generation. Plus movement stuff that, like I said, nobody gives a shit. Alright, so now I'm just going to adjust the armor. Hello, Atkinson. So that is a really cool thing. I think this is going to be something to really look forward to, is the 2A, especially in stuff like Merrick Civil War. Because there's a drop where you have to take 3 mediums, you don't get any lights. This could be a good thing to take as a light. Well, as a medium, but it's actually a light. So we're going to put that. I'm going to put it in Tier 2. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking do it. Tier 2 Cicada 2A. And the 2B should be next. Medium pulse. Oh, hey, Kasha. Sorry, she was feeling lonely. Alright, Cicada 2B is our next contender. Medium pulse for days. Medium pulse range, heat generation, cooldown, duration, and then movement stuff that nobody gives a shit about. So we're gonna look at that. Cicada 2B. It's got medium pulse lasers. I'm putting some goddamn medium pulse lasers on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 30 firepower. Same as the Jenner, but about half the beam duration, literally. It used to be like 0.6, now it's going to be, what, like 0.54 with that perk? Fill her up with heat sinks, that's about as many as you can get. 16.5. It's slow. I'm sorry. Kasha. She's trying to eat my chair. Alright. Looking at that, I like it. Hold on, I'm just gonna open up a bookmark. Hold on, actually, I think I deleted the bookmark. We're gonna go over here. Sorry about this, because I posted it over here and... Alright, so this is one of the few mechs that I made a build for already because, like I said before, I love medium pulse lasers, so I looked through all of these to find the best medium pulse laser mechs. I just want to double check. Alright, yeah, so it looks like I did make the right build. Alright, so that's this. Just gonna do the armor up a little bit. She's guarding my door now. And now we got this. I think that's it. Alright, we're gonna put it over here. Do we want that as... I think we do want that as a tier 2. I really do. It is slow. I want it as a tier 3. It's gonna be more fun than 2A, but it's gonna be slower. And fuck your borders. Alright, that looks better. Cicada 3 Charlie. This is a weird one. ERPPC gets some pretty nasty quirks. Like, really nasty quirks. But only has 1 energy slot. If it had 2 energy slots, I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome! But it doesn't. Only has 1. But if you look at the velocity, plus 25%, they just boosted it to 1050, I think, for the ERPPC. That's gonna be going like almost 1300, maybe over 1300. That is really cool. That is really cool. 1300 meters per second, so we're gonna put that in. And honestly, I don't think you can fit any substantial weapons in there. I think it's going to be 4 machine guns. Maybe not. Let's see if we can fit an AC-5. I want to see what that's like. 2 tons of ammo. Alright, next up. XL255, you're going pretty slow. Oh, yeah, but I can strip the arms. That's 7, add an extra half ton of ammo. 2 extra heat sinks, or I can upgrade the engine. I'm gonna upgrade the engine. Alright, shut shockingly low excuse me, shockingly low DPS. But I think it's worth it. I do indeed think it's worth it. I see we're arguing about math in chat. Yeah, I really wish that I had this ERPPC quirk on like my Dragon Slayer or my Banshee or something, but it just gets on a fucking cicada. But I think this is still a pretty decent build. I'd like to see this in action. That's enough range or speed so that you can keep your range pretty well, and that's enough DACA. I'm gonna ERPC isn't really DACA, but it's enough pinpoint that you'll be able to poke people down. I'm gonna drop the back armor a bit more than usual for this, just because if you're getting hit in the back, you're doing it wrong. Alright, I like that. It is not a high tier build though. Gotta be said. It's gotta be said. Tier 4. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't put in tier 3. Alright, next up is the Cicada 3M. Large laser duration, medium laser range. I like it. The old school Cicada, I remember like way back in the day when it first came out. 2 large lasers, 2 medium lasers, ECM, sort of fast, but not that fast, you know? This is what we'd take on like capping decks if we needed to take mediums like in Arhad. So, let's see. Alright, so let's try to max out the double heat sinks, because that is a fair amount of heat. Can't put it there. Let's put it there. Drop the arms to 0. Head to 7. Alright, some people like putting the head up more and getting a couple points on the arms. Not such a huge fan, but you do whatever makes you happy, you know? Put an XL300 in there. Let's see what a 280 gets you. That gets you 125 kph. I think that should be enough. Ooh, 285. Oh man, 127 kph. That's a whole nother ball game. I like that. I think that this could be good, because you're gonna be, these large lasers should be your main weapons throughout the fight. You should be staying at like 600 meters at least, so that you can use these large lasers effectively. Their max range is about 500 with the module. And then, if need be, you can add in the medium lasers when you close to brawl. Oh my god, chat. I have no idea what any of this math means. Can we get someone from PGI in here? Alright, so this kit... Oh, hold on, let me make sure I did armor. I did not do armor. That's bad. I'm gonna do it the same as on the 3C, because you're keeping your distance. Maybe a little more back armor on the CT. Alright, save that, put it into the thingy. Say in tier 2. Now the X5, which is one of the first tier mechs. It might have been, I think it came out after the Dragons, I'm not 100% sure. But Skid X5, additional armor, right arm, left arm, medium laser range, heat generation. Not a single perk for missiles, which is like the only thing that differentiates it from the other Cicadas. That's interesting. I think I'm going to use missiles anyways though. Thanks very much, PGI. Alright, I'm going to try the old faithful build. I think that it's still going to work. We're looking at 4 medium lasers, 2 streak 2s, and basically just treat it like a Jenner D without jump jets. Which is not that cool. It is not terribly good at its role because it doesn't have jump jets. This thing is a tier 4 shoo-in. Maybe tier 5, I'm not sure. Gets extra armor, so I think we can afford to cut that down a bit before we cut anything else. Can't really afford to put in BAP, not if you want to go max speed. I think that's pretty much what it's going to be. It's a pretty boring build, I know. I'm sorry. I don't really see how you can get any more interesting than this, besides like going SRM2s or SRM4s. Either you'd have too much tonnage or not enough, I think, in those situations. So we're going to put that in tier 4 for now. I do get the feeling I'm going to be moving a lot of mechs down to tier 5 in the medium category. Like a lot of these current mechs. I'm going to do it now, actually. Screw this, I'm moving these guys down to tier 5. I'm moving them all down a tier. I can adjust it later, but right now the way I feel is that these other mediums are getting way better quirks, and I can't really call any of these that good. I think tier 3 is pretty much as good as this kid is going to get. Now let's move on to the BJ1. Yeah, cool, that's what I ended up doing. Alright, BJ1 is next. It gets AC2 cooldown, AC2 heat gen. Alright, I think that's... I'm predicting that I'm going to name it a tier 4, but we'll see. Why can I... Oh, wow, it took me way too long. AC2, AC2. Do we want an XL engine? It's going to be staying at range. We might want an XL engine. 11 tons left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, looks like a decent ammo spread. Need an extra heat sink and a jump jet. And now we can start looking at backup weapons. 4 medium lasers. Looks pretty obvious to be the choice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we've got a ton left. I think that's going to have to be a heatsink. Oh, but we only have 2 free slots. Huh? I already accepted your friend invite, Atkinson. Curious as to see whether we could use maybe medium pulse in these side torsos. Add a heatsink that way, and that way we would be more heat efficient in general. I like that. I like that a lot. Ooh, or an ER large laser to support the AC2s better. We're missing a ton. Let's drop a heatsink and see if we can deal with that. ER large laser up here. That's it. I think that's the build. So this way you can just use all your weapons just at max range. You're staying like pretty much out of the fight, using that XL engine to keep you away from any bad guys. And just plinking away at them. That is like one of the most underwhelming alphas I've ever seen, but the DPS is also pretty goddamn underwhelming. But the range is pretty damn good. Yes, I have a face, Michaelius, believe it or not. Alright, gonna copy that. I don't feel great about this build, but I do think that it could be an interesting Daka mech. And honestly, I'm trying to, in general, keep it to the point where all the builds that I make for this are distinct at like what they're good at individually, rather than just every single one having the same set of builds, like they all get AC20s and all that shit. Like, an AC20 Blackjack might be better, but I'm not sure that it is anymore on the Blackjack 1, because the Blackjack Arrow is just going to be superior to it, strictly superior to it. So we're going to put the BJ1 tier 4. I think that's appropriate. Now the BJ1 Delta Charlie. What does that get? AC5 cooldown. Now there's a useful weapon. Thank you. That wasn't sarcasm. I was just making fun of the AC2. Alright, and yabba dabba dab, velocity, torso twist, whatever. AC2s are quite jank indeed, but I do think that that cooldown might make them a bit less janky. Blackjack, 1 Delta Charlie. No jump jets on this, which is a huge flaw for Blackjack. It's just this and the 1x, but the 1x gets a massive speed boost, while this is still capped at 93 kph. But it gets 2 AC5s because of that quirk. Because that quirk is a pretty cool quirk. 40% ballistic cooldown. 40% AC5 cooldown. Damn, son! That's like what you're getting on the 6R Wolverine. That's like what you're getting on the other mech with an AC5 thing that I forget right now. Whatever. Alright, so we're gonna have these. We're gonna really need to put in some ammo for this because you're gonna be going through it fast. So I'm gonna call it there. Oh wait, I can't add a jump jet to the CT because this chassis sucks. Alright, head on Pharaoh. We need a double heatsink. Is it just gonna be 2 AC5s? No backup weapons? Because we'd have to drop Pharaoh to get any backup weapons. And have to like run an XL200. That's just that means we can run 3 small lasers. Single heatsinks. Huh? 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 Nope, that's still useless. Oh wait, no. Heroin. And now we have a ton left. I'm gonna put in a couple small lasers. It's not heat neutral, but it doesn't really have to be. I just made a single heatsink thing. I'm putting it on my goddamn tier list. I feel so dirty right now. Just so dirty. Actually, I really want to take advantage of that AC5 quirk. I really do. And that needs me to take 2 AC5s. But I'm wondering if 6 medium lasers and 1 AC5 would be better. Yeah, I think that would be better. Strip equip. We're gonna go with 1 AC5. Oh man, this sucks. Doggy's still just lying right over there. Or maybe, alright, no, we're just gonna go with 2 AC5s. 2 AC5s for the win. It's gonna have absolute heat efficiency. You're gonna be strolling through the center of the caldera and terra therma, and you're gonna not give a shit because you've got like negative heat generation the whole time, whole way. You got negative heat generation. Look at that cooling efficiency, 139%. You don't give a shit, and you've got extra tonnage as well. And now you've got not enough tonnage to do anything. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. Why does it not fit right? This is really annoying. I do not like this mech at all. I think a standard engine is in order. Yeah, it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be very slow. 75 kph. Alright. Alright. I think that with the perks, I think this is going to be putting out some pretty crazy DPS. And I think this is worth it. I think this is a decent enough build for it. It sucks that it has a standard 190. Oh my god, that's awful. But I still think that it's better than 6 medium lasers and an AC5. I do. That's going to be a tier 4 though, for sure. Alright, next up, BJ1X. This is a good one. This and the Arrow are probably the best Blackjacks. So we're going to look through here. Blackjack 1X. Look at all those laser points. Look at them all! I know Cleese is a huge fan of this mech, and I've seen him do crazy things with it. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, PGI was just spectating him and we're like, alright, let's just take his build and make it better. So, BJ1X, let's look. Large pulse heat generation, large pulse range, medium laser duration, energy weapon cooldown. Alright, so I think it's pretty clear what weapons we're going for. Sorry, I held my push-talkie a little too long there. We're going to keep Pharaoh off this thing, because we are going to want some serious heat dissipation. And we're going to want an XL. I think we're going to want to leave that left arm alone. How does that look? XL265. You're going 105 kph, 37 firepower, that ain't bad. Plus you got those quirks for range, duration, etc, etc. That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty interesting. I'm gonna go with that. That looks like a really brutal flanker. The large pulse and the medium lasers, they have roughly the same range. Now the spread is a little wider. But they have roughly the same range, and their cooldowns seem to sync up pretty well too. So I've always liked that combination. And then when the clans came out, it was the same deal. That's why I made the laser bomb too. Yeah. Alright. Save. I'm calling that tier 3. I don't think it's tier 2 worthy. I think there's other mechs I'm going to put in tier 2 that are way better. Alright, Blackjack 3. Hold on, I'm just going to move all these remaining mechs up. Fucking hell. Oh my god, what are you doing to me, Google? Alright. Blackjack 3 is next. What did it get? PPC. Oh, this is the PPC one. Nice. Alright, I know what I'm doing with this. See, the Blackjack 3 was always the best at a Pop-Tart Blackjack. And now, that's just making it even better. PPC, PPC. I'll try some Pharaoh on for size. Gonna give it a big ass XL engine, max that armor. And I'm gonna give it a big ass standard engine and max that armor. Alright, alright. Extra double heatsink because you need it. And I'm gonna load this baby up with jump jets and heat sinks. I like to make my builds nice and symmetrical. Alright, look at that. That is like really underwhelming alpha, but this thing can pop for days. Look at these quirks. Range goes up, velocity goes considerably up, and the cooldown goes considerably down. It can just pop, 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 cool down for a little bit while, and then it'll just go back to popping, baby. And those weapon mounts are really high, so you don't even need to expose yourself that much. You're not going to get hit back by much in a trade. They've got to be like staring at you already in order to hit you back. Alright, let's save that. I'm going to make it tier 3 too. But like I said, I know some builds are going to be way better. Next up, the Blackjack Arrow. This is, in my opinion, the best of the Blackjacks. Not even before these quirks came in, which are pretty sweet. It was already the best. AC-20 velocity, AC-20 range. Not like those quirks aren't a huge deal, but they are certainly nice. Honestly, I'm not even going to bother making a new build. I'm just going to use the old one. Where is it? BJA. I'll just show it to you in case you're interested. AC. What? Okay, no, this is the wrong build. Good thing I checked. Alright, I'm gonna make a new build for it. Woohoo! AC 20. 3 medium lasers. AC 20, AC 20, AC 20. Max armor. Left arm at 0. I like to put the AC 20 in the left arm because then you get firing group 1 for your medium lasers, which is your left mouse, and then firing group 2 for your AC 20, which is your right mouse. I just like the way it feels. You can put it in the left arm if you want, though. It's up to you. Do we want to do an XL? I don't think we do. I think we want a standard. Standard 225. But we're on heat sinks. 200? Alright, yeah, we'll put a heat sink in each side torso, drop that, and pick up a 210. That looks nice. That looks good. Just do some armor fiddling. So I'm just checking in every once in a while to see if there's any new messages. Alright, save that shit and put it in the spreadsheet. God damn it, I don't want to open up downloads. Yeah, I think it's still tier 3. Oh god, the Vindicator. Oh my god, this is gonna be really boring. Aww. Yay, the Vindicator! PVC velocity, PVC heat gen. It's like a Blackjack 3 with low mounts, basically. That's what they made it into, the 1AA. Like, I'm gonna put in some medium lasers as backup weapons just because it needs something, but, like, jeez, it's really not good. Oh, did I forget a jump jet on the arrow? Oh shit, good. Good catch, Vonderwell. Or Vonderwell, or Wanderwell, or whatever the hell. Okay. Damn, that was close. Thank you. I'll just stick a jump jet there. Standard 205, just as good as a 210, almost-ish. Alright, there, updated. Thank you. Alright, Vindicator. Oh yeah, it has a bigger engine, I guess. So we're probably going to go for an XL on this. You want to go crazy with jump? I want to go crazy with jump jets. I am going to go absolutely bonkers out of my mind with jump jets. I want this thing to be flying through the air like a goddamn swan? I don't know. What else? What's a good flying thing? Peregrine Falcon is my favorite bird, but this thing ain't gonna be no Peregrine Falcon. Alright, let's do some armor. I mean, I do see this thing being better at side peeking around a corner than I see it at being at jumping. But I don't know. I'm pretty disappointed with the Vindicators overall. So I'm not really liking them. For tier 5 Vindicator. And the 1R, the Vindicator 1 Romeo. The best medium pulse laser boat in the 45-ton category. Probably. Gets medium laser quirks. Come on. Why? Oh, guys. Fine. I'll do it like that. Let's see if there's anything else interesting we can do to it. It's got a missile hard point. Maybe we'll add an SRM-6. Maybe we'll be a little cheeky with it. Does it have any? Does it have cooldown? And SRM-4. That'll sync up nicely with the medium lasers. Dum 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 dum. Sorry. We'll leave Pharaoh off. See, 5 medium lasers, that's less firepower than a Jenner. It's a 45-tonner. Very, very disappointed. You know what? Fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck. Go away. I'm adding a large laser, and I might be adding another large laser. I think I'm adding another large laser. 2 large lasers. Screw you, perks. I'm going for it. I'm adding a jump jet too. Loading up on double heat sinks. I hope this works. If it doesn't, I'll feel a fool. A fool! Oh, it didn't work, did it? If you want a standard engine, I think we want a standard engine. It's got a head mount, so at the very least you'll be able to pew pew Cyclops them. That was like super lame, wasn't it? Holy shit. Damn. I almost feel dirty for doing that, but not really, because fuck it, Cyclops is cool. Alright, that looks okay, I guess. One thing that I do like about the weapon modules is that something you can do is use large lasers and medium lasers and give large lasers the cooldown 5, and their cooldowns sync up almost perfectly. So you should check that out. Yeah, it does. The 5 medium pulse does get better than before, but in PUG, it was already not good. Like, it was serviceable, but the Cicada 2B, you saw that build. 5 medium pulse lasers going 140 kph. This thing can't even go 90. Well, I guess it can go 90 if you do the max engine, but that's not the point. It's just bad. It's just bad. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, I think this is probably the best bet for it, though. It gets some good medium range poke. I mean, you do not want to be on the front line in a Vindicator. I will say that much. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for the Vindicator 1 Romeo. Yeah, I would say the Vindicator is definitely a candidate for the worst mech in the game. I would rather take a Locust than a Vindicator. I do like my Locust particularly much, but still. Boo, Vindicator. Boo. 1X. What did this baby get? PPC Heat Gen, PPC Velocity. Does it have jump jets? Please tell me it has jump jets. Energy cooldown, missile cooldown. Medium, Vindicator, 1X. It's got 1 energy hardpoint, and you gave it PPC stuff. Who's gonna use a freaking PPC? Oh my god, I can't even deal with this. Can't. I'm gonna do an AC. I'll do an AC10. I'll do a PPC, and I'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe not. I'm gonna do an AC5 and a PPC. AC10 was just pure option. And I'm gonna do a head laser. I wonder what this build's gonna look like. 16.5 tons left over. I can afford Pharaoh. Give me a couple tons of AC5 ammo. XL engine. No, we want a standard engine. Let's see what a standard 200 gets us. 3 heat sinks. We want a crit pad. Yeah, I'm gonna crit pad the arm. Fucking hell. Gonna crit pad the arms up. Still got a ton, so we can afford to raise it to like a 205. Whoop-de-doo. Alright, so now you're looking at a pretty shitty Pop-Tart, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But at least you have a head laser. So that's something, right? That's great. It's just, there's no hard points on this, and when there are hard points, there's very few of each kind. This has 3 ballistics. What the fuck are you going to use 3 ballistics for? You can't even fit 3 AC2s on this thing. You do not have enough tonnage to fit all the ammo and heat sinks required. You gotta sacrifice something significant. So you're really just stuck running incredibly suboptimal builds. If they had made a Vindicator variant, non-hero variant, mind you, with 3 missile hardpoints, it would be cool. It would be an interesting mech with some fun brawling possibilities. They didn't do that. They did not do that. That's not what happened at all. So we're gonna put this in tier 5 too, because fuck the Vindicator. Alright, and next, the St. Ives Blues. Right? Yeah, that's right. Large laser range, energy weapon range, missile cooldown. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to work with that laser range. I think I might stick to the mediums. But let's see. Let's see what happens. There's a lot of tonnage. There's a lot of tonnage to put into large lasers. Maybe if I use SRM4s though. I do like SRM4s better than 6s. Trevelius did the math and SRM4s do more damage unit area. I don't like, basically the damage per DPS is more concentrated on a particular spot than it is in an SRM6. And SRM2 even more so, but then you get other things like how the fuck are you gonna mount enough SRM2s for it to be worth it? And oh my god, that is actually a lot hotter than I thought it would be. Yeah, I'm the only one around here that really enjoys the SRM2, unfortunately. Alright, we're gonna crypt fed that. Alright, please tell me that it has a max 250? It's higher than I was expecting, but still can't fit an XL in like that. We're gonna switch to standard. We're gonna bump in some heat sinks. Oh, and a jump jet. I can't believe I forgot that. Wow, that's gonna be slow. And it's also not gonna fit with that. You know what? I'm gonna do a standard engine. I think in a brawler Vindicator, I think you want to do a standard for sure. It's gonna be slow. It's not gonna be fun, that's for sure. But I mean, that's not too bad. It's really hot. Okay, I'm dropping one of these large lasers. I can understand bringing one, not two though. And that leaves us room for another heatsink, and we can upgrade the engine to 30. That looks better. That's a decent brawler, I think. A little bit of long-range poke with this large laser. But I like this. I like this decently enough. I mean, alright, so the St. Ives Blues is definitely the best Vindicator. But it's not pay to win because they all suck. Alright, I'm gonna even put this. I am going to put this baby into tier 4 because it's not that terrible. And what else do we have? What's up next? What's up? The Centurion 9A. Ooh la la. This, I expect, is going to be very similar build to the Champion because if you look at here, it's got SRM4 cooldown, SRM4 light range, laser duration, and other shit that doesn't matter. For the purposes of building mechs, I mean, torso twist and stuff like that matters, obviously, but not to me right now. No. So we're going to put in 3 SRM4s with Artemis. I know some people don't like it. I do. Deal with it. We're going to put in 2 medium pulse lasers, and we're going to put in a standard engine because I'm not an idiot. And I run standard engines in my Centurions. Like how I said that, I'm going to put an XL in the AH. Alright, whatever. Now we're going to want to put in some ammo. I'm going to put in the right leg, so if it gets crit, it blows up into the right torso instead of getting out all my SRMs. And I'm going to heat sink this baby up. I might drop some heat sinks later if I feel they're not necessary, but I think they're necessary. 96.2, that's some decent speed. Here, what's the additional armor on the left arm, additional structure on the right arm? I'm gonna add a bit more armor to the right arm than I add to the left arm, but I'm gonna shield them both. Oops. I'll add 4 points to the left arm, so that'll be like a total of 20 armor. That's will have 8 armor and 16 extra structure. That's nice. That is nice. I like this build. It'd be interesting in actually trying this build. I like the way that medium pulse lasers generally sync up with SRM4s, so this is good. It's not Griffin good, that's for damn sure, but it's good. Save it. And where are we gonna put it? I'm not sure if it's tier 3 or tier 4. I mean, sorry, tier 3 or tier 2. But knowing that we have stuff like the Hunchbacks and the Griffins and the Wolverines and the Shadowhawks all coming up, I'm gonna have to put it in tier 3. Because there's some really interesting stuff in the 55 and even the 50-ton range besides the CN9A. Oops, I don't think I've updated this with the CN9AH. Is that what's next? That is what's next. Sorry, excuse me. I did not get a full night's sleep, I apologize. Next mech, CN9AH. The fun one. A lot of people, you might not have this, it's only for people that bought into it, or that spent money on the game at some point, I think. So probably I would say most of you have it, but there are some people that don't. AC-20 cooldown 20%, AC-20 velocity 20%, SRM-4 cooldown 20%, SRM-4 range 20%, yada yada yada. This thing is so cool! This is like far and away the best Centurion, better than the Yunlo Wang for sure. And I gotta say, this is a tier 2 mech for sure. I wanted it to be a tier 1, it's not a tier 1 though, but it's definitely a tier 2. Why did I just do that? Why did I just make those noises? I don't... Alright, stop now. I think I'm doing this without Pharaoh. I think Pharaoh is hurting me. Alright, I want 2.5 tons of SRM ammo. I want my left arm at 0 because it gets an extra 16 armor, I believe. Drop a head down by a couple points. And 12.5, just enough for an XL255. Not as fast as I would like it to be, but it's still pretty damn fast for what it is, which is a brawler. The XL engine is a pretty substantial risk, but these days a lot of times people go for legs over side torsos anyways, especially on mechs like Sense that are really hard to hit in the side torso, although these days it's not so hard. But look at the damage. 6 sustained DPS, 13.6 maximum, and that's before the what is it, the cooldown quirks, 20% on all of them, so that's an extra 20% or more overall. Oh my god, that's gonna be like 7 to 8 extra, 7 to 8 DPS sustained. Maybe not, but it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be awesome. Trust me. Trust me. I'm sure some of you people have already played it, and they can confirm that it is pretty brutal. So that is going straight into tier 2. First one, CN9AL, the Al Bundy, as some of my old friends called it. Large pulse range, large pulse heat gen, medium laser duration. Okay, I can work with that. I'm just glad it doesn't have any learn quirks. Centurion AL. Now what I'm thinking is 2 large pulse on this one, 2 mediums, and then let's see what we have left to work with. I think we can fit another couple of SRM4s. I'm not putting Artemis on these. They're not meant to be... no, because then you can't do a standard engine. I could forego the medium lasers. I don't want to put an XL on this. It's necessary on the AH, it is not necessary on the AL. I could do SRM2s maybe. There, let me just see what the heat looks like with a standard 250. It is decently hot. Hold on. You might call me crazy, and I might be crazy. But what about 3 large pulse lasers? I think I'm crazy, guys. I am using a Razer Black Widow Ultimate. It's pretty cool, but I wish I'd gotten something with Cherry MX Red or Black instead, because this thing gets fucking loud at night. Alright, I think... no. I think no. Alright, what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep in 1 large pulse laser, but I'm going to add in 3 medium lasers, and that way I can manage to fit in a couple of SRM4s. Thanks, Akula. Alright, so we're going to put in 2 tons of ammo, which I think is appropriate, and we're going to put in 3 external double heat sinks, and we're going to bump this engine up to 270. What does that look like? 4.21 sustained, 43 firepower, 96 kph. I like it. I think this is it. I think this is the one I'm going for. I just wish I could put an XL on everything, but it's just not worth it most of the time. Like, sometimes you have to, and sometimes it's a good idea. But most of the time... oh shit, I can't do a 270. I forgot that I dropped my left torso armor. What can I do? I can do a 265, whatever, same thing. And that's it. And so that is going to be a tier 3 mech. Or is it going to be a tier 4 mech? No, it's not nearly... it is nearly as bad as those, isn't it? Oh man. It's going to be a tier 4 mech. Sorry, Al. Alright, Centurion D. What is this bitch get? LBX. Oh, this is the LBX automatic shotgun, whatever, that Phil was putting up. 7.4 range. You know what? I'm gonna do it too. I think I'm not a huge fan of the LBX, and I don't think the build's gonna be that great. But I'm gonna do it anyways. I don't remember how exactly he had his build. I'm just gonna build something fresh. I'm gonna drop the Artemis because, I mean, none of your weapons are gonna be even close to converging on the target. Might as well minimize accuracy while we're doing this. I want to try for a standard. I don't think I'm gonna get a standard engine, am I? I could try for light speed with an XL. Yeah, I can't quite fit a standard engine. Let's see what I could go 112 kph though. Oh man, I'm really tempted to do this. This would be... I'm doing it. I think this is it. I think you're gonna get some sick DPS out of this, and I think you're gonna just weave in between buildings like a mofo. You're going faster than a Storm Pro and just wrecking everything in your way. I mean, by wrecking, I mean you're gradually doing a damage to a large portion of their mech, spreading it over them as much as possible. But, you know, tomato, maybe? Oh god, it's not that good. I'm gonna call this